Markle's ego completely out of control. Hello everyone, welcome to Royal News Network. My name is Brittany, and today we're going to be talking about kind of the first day of Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's pseudo-royal tour in the UK and Europe, and then particularly Meghan's speech at the One Young World Summit, where she said I or me well over 50 times, and it just came across as a completely self-absorbed, self-obsessed speech. And given her recent interview with The Cut, and even stuff that's happened today in Dusseldorf, it's becoming, and her latest podcast with Mindy Kaling, it's becoming very, very apparent that Meghan's ego is utterly out of control, and she's really not connecting with people anymore. And if I was at the One Young World Summit, I would completely and totally ask for my money back. But if you guys haven't been to Royal News Network before, like I said, my name is Brittany, and on this channel we talk about everything related to royals. So that's news, gossip, fashion, jewelry, television shows, movies, and history. We will do it all right here. So if you want to hit that subscribe button, that would be fantastic. And like I said, let's just get into it. I was going to film this last night. I was actually traveling yesterday, and unlike Harry, I believe in spending time with my grandparents, so I was with them this weekend. So unfortunately, I wasn't able to film this video earlier, but I was just kind of blown away. By Meghan's just continually atrocious fashion choices, and just this very, very apparent just narcissism that she has that's just really starting to get kind of out of control. So her and Harry obviously took a train up to Manchester where this speech was going to take place. And apparently we had been told that they had this ring of security around them because, again, everybody really wants to kill the sixth in line to the throne, who is irrelevant to the constitutional monarchy, and his wife and children. Why? No idea. But apparently this is the delusion that Harry and Meghan live under. And given kind of what we've seen so far this week, I think it's very, very much Meghan driven. Meghan sees herself, at least from what I can tell, as she is this historical figure that is breaking the mold, that must be written into the history books, and everybody wants her. Everybody wants a piece of Meghan Markle. And I can kind of see where she's coming from a bit. But instead of people just, want a piece of her because she's this hugely historical figure, people more want a piece of her because she's kind of severely damaged the monarchy and is, causing Harry to lose this relationship with his family, particularly his grandmother, who we saw recently, and there was this picture of her, and the top of her hand looked very bruised, as if she had an IV there. She's obviously having a lot of mobility issues, and she's clearly nearing the end of her life. And Meghan has separated Harry from her, from his entire family, and it just doesn't make a ton of sense. But Meghan is just clearly calling the shots. And I'm going to do a whole video on this because I find it really interesting, is that Harry cannot hide his misery anymore in this situation. And I think in part, again, it's because Meghan's ego is completely out of control. And again, we saw this for the first time in this speech. So listen to this clip here.
And I was invited to pull up a seat at the table. I was so overwhelmed by this experience. I think I even saved my little paper place card that said my name on it. Just proof that I was there, and proof that I belonged. Because the truth was, I wasn't sure that I belonged. I was so nervous. I doubted myself, and I wondered if I was good enough to even be there, if what I was doing in the world, albeit important and meaningful as far as I saw it, was it deserving to have a seat at this table?
Now, I kind of get what she's going for here. She's trying to appeal to the audience and everything, and I think that personal anecdote may have worked in a much longer speech, but her speech was only 7 minutes. 7 minutes. And all she could talk about was herself. All she could talk about was herself, her husband, her kids. Like, it was all about Meghan. But, you know, if you're giving a speech to an event, yes, you can put a personal anecdote in there here or there. But really, you should try to be motivating and empowering these young people. And that's not what she did at all. It was basically a self-aggrandizement of, look how much I've accomplished. Aren't I grand? The problem with that, though, is that Tom Bauer completely dismantled a lot of this Meghan is so great, everybody wanted to hear from Meghan Markle narrative by kind of explaining that through Sunshine Sachs, she just paid a buttload of money to get herself to events like these. She paid to get there initially through Sunshine Sachs. Maybe she didn't directly give a paycheck to One World Summit, but she did pay Sunshine Sachs to aggressively promote her. And that's why she was there. She paid to be there. She didn't pay to be there because she's really accomplished anything noteworthy. She paid to be there, just like she's paying to be there now, essentially. Her and Harry need content for Netflix. Why Sunshine Sachs can come in, they can kind of arrange this, and bada bing, bada boom, we have more content for Netflix, because apparently their lives are so boring, they can't get a reality show together after over a year of filming. Apparently there's not enough. There's not enough content there. And what's really frustrating about this too, if I was in the audience, is that Meghan talks like she has this profound statement. And she really doesn't. So listen to this clip here.
But the resounding spirit I believe you'll hear is that you are the future. But I would like to add to that you are also the present. You are the ones driving the positive and necessary change needed across the globe now in this very moment. And for that, I'm so grateful to be in your company today.
Okay, I don't know about you, but just listening to this, I just think to myself, it's like, okay, so you're not just the future, you're the present too. And she says this with such conviction, as if this is like groundbreaking. And it's like, well, yeah, they're present, they're all there. Like, there's just nothing interesting about that. The words sound very, you know, deep, and she's trying to make them, give them this gravitas, but they're really empty. I mean, the kids are just there, like, where else are they supposed to be? I don't know. So it's just, again, this whole thing where Meghan, it's the word salad, but not just the word salad. Actually, that wasn't too bad in this speech. Meghan thinks she's this intellectual, and she's really not. She's vain, she's vapid, she's shallow. And this is just so been exposed recently, is that all she cares about is money, fame, and celebrity. That's all she cares about. And she doesn't have, I think, the grasp and the depth to really talk about things, you know, really come to deep conclusions, really provide something that's deep and engrossing for people to be inspiring to them. So, you know, just her thing about, oh, you're present. And it's like, okay, you know, yeah, we're here, we're present, we're alive, we're here. And it's just like, that's just not much. So looking at this speech as well, it was clear that how much Meghan loved this event. She is walking in and she is grinning ear to ear. This is the celebrity that she always wanted. This is the attention. This is the accolades that she always wanted. And even in her speech, while she can give a very good speech, what I thought was really interesting is that just watching her is like, she's so excited. She keeps grinning, and she's, you know, has this huge grin on. And honestly, after a while, I'm like, okay, it's starting to look a little creepy. You know, you can tone it down a bit. That, you know, that's fine. And, you know, she would get, you know, somber as her speech called for it too. What really struck me though is that Meghan just wants this captive, mindless audience. She just wants people to clap on cue as they should. She just doesn't want anybody to think. She just wants everybody to absorb her words, because she is the most brilliant human being who ever existed, apparently. So we should just all, you know, embrace the utter brilliance that is Meghan Markle and just not question it. And that's why I think, and I'll have to word this carefully because I don't want to offend anyone, but I think part of the reason Meghan appeals to the younger generation is that they are, even though they know a lot, they're also very naive in the world. And they're the only generation, I think, to a certain extent she appeals to, because they don't have the life experience older people have to understand the importance of family, of relationships, of duty, of service, all these sorts of things that you just kind of have a greater appreciation for the older you get. But she loves this event because these are her little automatons. They just clap when she wants them to. They get so excited. They have their phones, they're taking pictures. Because again, this is all that Meghan wants, is this captive, mindless audience that just loves every word that comes out of her mouth, doesn't question anything. And you feel like this is, to a certain extent, starting to really rub Harry perhaps the wrong way. He is not into this anymore. When they were first coming in, now granted, you can't see a ton of it from the angle of this video, but he's not grinning. She's like this, and he just can't smile at all. He does kind of eventually as he goes down, but even throughout this speech, they would pan over to him, and he's just doesn't look that engaged, and he doesn't seem like he's that invested in what she's saying. And it's really becoming apparent, I think, that the cracks are showing, and they're becoming bigger and bigger and bigger because Harry can no longer contain Meghan's ego. Meghan needs to get her ego stroked. That's why she needs this audience. She needs people to applaud, to love her, to praise her, because this is what she needs. She fits in so many ways the classic definition of a narcissist. She just needs this constant accolade and support. And I think it's no longer working for Harry. And Harry's slowly starting to wake up to the reality that he was taken for a ride. This woman says that she loves him, says that, she just wanted what's best for them, but clearly she wants fame and fortune. That's all this woman has ever wanted. And I do feel, to a certain extent, sorry for him, because I feel like he's this very damaged young man. Well, I guess he's not young anymore, but he's this very damaged man. And he lived through this experience and trauma with his mother. And that's not to excuse him, but that does explain that she very much took advantage of somebody who couldn't totally fight back. And this tension that started, we've seen it again in Dusseldorf. He's doing the hand holding, but he's not as there anymore. He's not as engaged anymore. She's looking at him in adoration, and he's just, not reciprocating. And I don't think we'll see the same look of adoration from him to her, because again, this whole thing comes across as fake, fake, and fake. And that's because, again, it's all about stroking Meghan's ego. And Meghan just wants these kind of events. And she was denied these starring events that she thought she deserved, because the monarchy's like, well, pump your brakes. You were married to the 6th in line to the throne. You're not married to, even the 2nd in line to the throne. So you can't be the star. And that's all Meghan has ever wanted to be, is this super star. But as she's come into this spotlight, it's becoming more and more apparent that there's just no depth there, no heart behind her. It's all mindless ambition. And I think that does start to fall apart, because you can be ambitious, but if you don't have actually something to sell, if you don't have an immense talent in some way, people can pretty quickly figure out that there's just actually not that much to you. And obviously we did see, there was this really funny, so Chris Shipp, who's the ITV guy, he posted on Twitter, he's like, there's a crowd here. He said, I think a large crowd, and it seems like it's some clever British wit there, because there was actually not that many people there. And they were the targets of some booing again. And so that obviously, I'm sure, dampened their spirits a bit, or at least Harry. Harry, again, Meghan's living in pseudo fantasy land. I don't know where Meghan's mind is. The ego delusion has reached epic proportions at this point. But Harry is kind of, I think, really realizing, oh my gosh, I've lost everything. Nobody respects me anymore. I don't get respect in my own country. People boo me. I mean, that's hard. And so, he's starting to become aware of that. But Meghan is like, well, if they boo me, then they don't, she just dismisses anybody who disagrees with her. But just to end, Meghan's fashion. Oh my goodness, this woman cannot dress herself. She really, really can't. So the first outfit of the day, she wore on the train. It wrinkled, of course, because the fabric is terrible. So it looks like it's like this shiny, crepey fabric, which of course is gonna wrinkle to death. That's what that fabric does. And so she gets out of the car, and you don't see it full on, but it's totally wrinkled in the back and is riding up her butt. And it's just deeply unflattering. It's an ugly color. Like, it's not, it's like, somebody said it's a color of poop, and it kind of is. It's just the color of poop. It's ugly. And she wore this, so they're Brandon Maxwell pants, because she's, you know, into Brandon Maxwell, and I believe they were Brandon Maxwell pants, and an Altazura polo shirt. Altazura is very expensive wear. There's actually a dress I love of theirs that I would really love to get someday. But she was wearing this knit polo thing, and it was just like this ugly taupe color. And she likes to try to go for this minimalism, which I don't feel like works in the way she does it. And she tries to go for this monochrome look, and I always feel like it never works. I always feel like the monochromes like don't match, and so it just doesn't totally work. Like, you really need sometimes the colors to match to really make it work. And honestly, I just even feel like the colors went together, like this silky fabric with like this knit thing. I mean, I just don't get it. But really, like, the wrinkledness and the mess and, you know, riding up her tush was just, yeah, didn't work. The red ensemble, which is, and other stories, I believe, you know, it wasn't bad. Although when you're watching her video, the sleeves were so long that she, you know, she kind of had to do this and couldn't, you know, raise her hand to, you know, to wave at people, which is not the end of the world. But it was just like, well, you didn't really think through that, did you? And it was also riding up her behind. Again, you could see this when they were kind of greeting people on the stage. That was just kind of riding up her. And it was just, again, this, you know, it's just not bad, but oh my gosh, I have a lot to say about the outfit she wore today in Dusseldorf. Oh my goodness. That thing is the ugliest thing. It's just, she really, really does stink at this. She really, really does. But anyways, guys, let me know what you think about this video. Let me know what you think of Harry's Misery. And as well, I started this bingo card, and I apologize for not releasing it, having a better release for it. But because I was traveling this weekend and everything, I actually had to fly in a plane to visit my grandparents. And, you know, with the trip last week and getting back from Poland, so I just didn't release it as well as I should have, and I should have mentioned it in a video. But I think I've achieved bingo. So if you guys haven't followed me on Instagram, you should go over there and do so at Royal News Network. And so, guys, thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you think of the self-obsession and the startlingly huge ego of Meghan Markle. And I forgot to mention as well that she was introduced first, and I think that totally made her day at the event. Well, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. Bye.